And we're back with some NBA observations. It's Gerald Glassford. Right back at you here. The DMs and the messages have not stopped all day long. It's been great to see. I finally, guys, just want to give you an update from our earlier show. I did get finally some text from Stefan Piscano, who was in some deep depression, being the sole Rob Pelinka supporter on the planet. Even he has come to grips with what the day has been. And it started with the Austin Reeves deal and it went down from there for him. But my condolences, Stefan. It's so hard to see your heroes fall. And my, how he felt today. But it is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for joining me. We're talking NBA free agency. I don't know if Joe or Legend is going to join us. We'll wait and see. But again, I have here our man that takes a look at everything OKC and then also as well has a great eye on observing the NBA as well. It is, of course, the guy from the New Century Press and the Swab Report, Caleb Ponce. Great to have you here. Stefan's in the chat. There you go. Oh, the timing is perfect. Caleb, great to have you here, my friend. It's going to be a very fun conversation. Again, you asked me, and I said this actually on the air earlier today. You asked me how I feel about today, and I'll say this again. It is what it is. Should have fired Rob Pelinka a long time ago, and he just seemed like today with the moves that he made. I think I had a very good quote earlier. I don't know if you heard this quote before, but it's a very old and famous quote. It's from Dostoevsky. Do not be angry with the audacity of a desperate and drowning man for making a last effort to save himself from perdition. So with that said, I guess everybody wants to know, first off, your thoughts on the Lakers' moves today, getting, of course, in a trade with Utah and signing to a big deal, Walker Kessler. I'll give you guys the particulars here in a second. Plus also as well, Quentin Grimes, they signed as well to a 4-year deal. Colin Sexton to a 2-year deal. And then also do a 4-year deal. Sandro Mamukelashvili. So we're going to have to say that get some practice. We're going to get some practice, guys, because Mamu is headed to LA. Your thoughts, my friend, on the day that was for LA before we get into the entire NBA free agency so far?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to come on here and become public enemy number one on the chat already, but I mean, I thought these were all really – your quote about the drowning man in reference to Rob Pelinka, I think is really made evident by these moves. I mean, I was on here last night and I said what I thought about Walker Kessler. I don't think that the juice is worth the squeeze here with the contract, not to mention now you've basically – this is your move if you're the Lakers, right? Those hopes and dreams that Joe has about trading for Jokic, they're out the door. It's no longer like the assets are no longer in-house to do so. So I mean, I just think that's an overpay.
No, he's waiting to see if he becomes a free agent.
Well, either way, then you're not going to have the cap space now. Like either way, that's just not really, and now, I mean, if you do, you're going to have to trade these guys to create that cap space. And now you don't have picks to attach to trade these giant contracts. I just think that this kind of takes the Lakers out of contention for superstars for the next few years. And that's the burden hand that the Lakers always have over any other team is that superstars want to come there. People want to play for the Lakers. And now I think they've taken themselves out of that race, but it is because of Pelinka, who I think the seat being hot is probably an understatement between the new ownership and the performance. He just kind of, if he hadn't had the Luka Doncic move fall into his lap, I don't know what his legacy would be other than happening to be the GM when LeBron wanted to come to the Lakers. If I was the GM, I don't think it mattered who's the GM was for that. So starting with the Kessler one, I'm not a fan. I think it really takes the Lakers, a team that's going to be super desirable for stars I think it takes them out of the races for them. And that's not to say that I don't think Kessler is going to be productive there, because I think that he's an exact type of big you want with Luka. If that's a justification for this, then that's fine. I just think that, I think that Jalen Duren's a better player, and he was available. And I imagine, despite how much the Pistons are saying we don't want to do this, we don't want to move off Jalen Duren, we're going to match whatever he gets. I think if you throw this offer at him where you get control of 4 future first-round picks in one way or another that are unprotected, I think that they probably maybe would have changed their tune on that. And I would just rather have Jalen Duren than Walker Kessler personally. That's down to preference, but that's my opinion. And I just don't think this is the move you make with those when you're going to be as an attractive spot as the Lakers are going to be with Luka and Reeves. In the other ones, I like Grimes. I think Grimes is a good fit next to Luka. The defense is a little more theoretical than in reality. He's a fine defender, not a great defender. And I think with how poor defensively you're going to have, your backcourt's going to be with Reeves and Luka, like you're going to need really, really good defensive players to insulate them. Which is why, despite to the objection of some in the chat, I thought Dort would be a good fit here because all his pluses, all his minuses, all his weaknesses, all his strengths, he is an elite perimeter defensive player. And I think you're going to need elite high-level defenders. And while Grimes is a good defender, when it gets down to the playoffs, which is what all this is about, you're going to have, if Grimes is your guy guarding SGAs and guarding how good Dylan Harper's going to be, guys like that, Darren Peterson, I think you could be in trouble. Mamushkavili, I want to know what the price difference comes down to between him and Rui, because I think Rui's a really good player who made sense with Luka, and I don't know why there just seemed to be no real want. Maybe it's from Rui's side to bring him back. I think he's a great fit. And coming off series when the Thunder played the Lakers, he was one of the scarier players on the roster. Granted, a depleted one. And then Sexton, I get it because you need more ball handling with this roster. I just think that you're going to want to bring guys in who can defend, and Colin Sexton can't defend. So I just think that these are a lot of moves that, other than Kessler, who does solve an issue, I want to be clear in saying that I do think he solves an issue. I just think you overpaid to fix that issue. I don't think these are players who particularly solve issues, especially Mamushkavili, who did kind of just get ousted from the Raptors playoff rotation for a team with the first-round exit. So all in all, not a very big fan of the Lakers' moves personally, but I am willing to kind of hear what you or some people in the chat's thoughts are on what the positive spin on those, because I just have not seen a lot of it, and I'm not a huge fan of them myself.
And nor have I, as far as the concern. With all the dozens and dozens of texts, DMs, and stuff that I've seen through, whether it's a WhatsApp chat for the Lakers Fast Break, whether it's the Lakerholics, whether it's my own relatives, things of that nature going back and forth, I've seen only a few, like Search and Destroy, who has positive vibes coming out of this. Again, Rob depleted all of his assets when it comes right down to it. He has nothing left. So this was a go for broke situation. And with Walker Kessler, it is an overpay. You cannot tell me in any way, shape, or form that this was an overpay. But the hope is that he will become and grow into the A-list center that Luka has been desiring for, the A-list center that he was supposedly asking for. And again, there's that possibility for him to do just that. But when it comes right down to it, Caleb, you're setting yourself up for your team with a trio of Kessler, Luka, and Austin. And I don't know how far that's going to take you, but I know that's not going to take you, as far as you would like to go this upcoming season. That's the shame. And when you talk about Grimes and Mamu and Colin Sexton, and I said that's great it's a little overpriced for bench players coming off the bench. And I said, that's great. And then you realize you're going to have to probably start two of them. And that's a big concern for me, because where are your forwards, your starting forwards? Because those two guys, yes, this team is young. This team is a younger team. That's great. It's a great team now to build around Luka going forward in successive years down the road if you can add more pieces to it. But right in its current form, it's nowhere near a championship team right now. And that's the problem, because Boston just traded away their second best player on their team and made themselves worse. And if your idea as a Lakers fan is to catch and eventually pass Boston, this would have been a great time to open the door with some really smart moves to make that happen. But right now we're still short of a front court that I think can compete in the Western Conference playoffs at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've been pretty clear on here all year. I think the Lakers are just a ways away from being able to compete with the top of this conference, San Antonio and Oklahoma City. And I don't think there was realistic moves that could be made this summer that were going to fix that, which is unfortunate because this is kind of the summer where the Lakers, they had promised Luka the world for the summer. And this is the summer when they were going to have cap space available before these big contracts they do have on the books kick in. So I get it. This is when they had to make the move. I just wish it was someone who we had seen a little bit more than Kessler. Like I said last night, Duren was terrible in the playoffs. We all saw that. Like, there's not really a counterpoint to be had. There's not a zag to make. He was just bad in the playoffs. But at least we've seen him in leverage situations. We know what he needs to work on in leverage situations. Kessler's just never been in these spots. And so for him to go from never having played in these ever to being a heavily important, very expensive, not only on his yearly contract, but in his what you gave up to get him. This is going to be a lot of opportunity cost that comes attached with him as well. And it's a lot for someone who we haven't seen in these spots. And so I really do think Kessler's going to be super productive with the Lakers. I just think that the races you take yourself out of, because there's always the next guy to come available. And we're seeing now superstars and stars go for a variety of prices. It's all dependent on the situation they're in. We have an aging, injury-prone Kawhi Leonard get traded for a haul, and then we have Jaylen Brown get traded for nothing like one day later. So so that's to the Lakers maybe benefit here. Maybe someone just ends up loving Austin Reeves and you can flip him for a real star. But it's going to be really hard for the Lakers to upgrade their roster drastically at this point, just because there's not those assets. The young players on the team, if they are assets, Cam Carr and Adu Thiero, you kind of need those guys to hit and play and turn into quality defenders and role players for you, because there's not really a very good avenue to getting those guys now. So you're not really going to want to attach those guys to trade them. And I just think that for this to be the Lakers move, like you said, like I've already said on here, it's desperate. And I get it's desperate because you have Luka and you're always on the clock when you have a player that good. But I just wish, and I get it's not a perfect world, I just wish there would have been a better, more stable move available, or one that didn't take you out of as many future races. Because big part of why I thought the Lakers and was comfortable with the Lakers re-signing Reeves all season was because you have to have that contract to trade for the other contract, but you also have to have the picks and the assets. And now they don't. They kind of use those assets to get Kessler. They think he's going to complete this big three. And I think it's an incomplete roster around that. And Sexton's fine. Grimes is a good fit that I like here. I just think that I want to see the difference between what Mamu and Rui end up making, because if you could have brought back Rui for anywhere within the same range, I think that they should have just brought back Rui, but we'll see if that's the case. It's TBD because we don't know how this ends up. Who knows where how all these dominoes fall. But as of right now, I still think the Lakers are probably a first, second round team-ish. I don't think there's championship upside with this current roster. And now it's going to be really hard to bring it in unless you hit massively on a Cam Carr or Adu Thiero turns into a really good player for you, which he did not show many signs of last year. So, or maybe Bronny, who knows? Maybe Bronny can turn into that quality defender, quality defender you need. Who knows?
You just did that to just annoy me, didn't you?
But the Lakers are going to need some unlikely or really lucky to fall into their laps, I think, to get to this next level that they clearly want to get to with how expensive this team's going to be and the swing they just made to get a player who, again, in my opinion, which anyone is free to disagree with, I just don't think he's proven in the NBA that he's worth the swing the Lakers just made, both financially and in terms of draft picks.
Again, I'm open to see what Kessler can do, but like you said, when you put all your eggs in one basket, there's a chance those eggs have a tendency to crack and spill all over the floor. So we'll see what happens. But I'm hopeful that Kessler can develop. Again, we've only seen him for 200 games now, and like you said, he's not played at a winning level with Utah, because Utah hasn't been a winning team until what we're going to see probably this upcoming season, because they've got a nice roster that they're still fleshing out there. But the added picks that they gave the Angels today, which was more realistically than what Jaylen Brown got, or as far as what that trade went through from what Philly gave Boston, was very intriguing. I'll say at least. Your thoughts on how that correlates to the Jaylen Brown trade, and how that's going to go ahead and play itself out? Because again, a lot of people, you think people in LA are upset right now. You think Lakers fans are upset right now, because there's a lot of Lakers fans that are mad right now. Man, it ain't nothing, to use poor English, than what's going on in Boston, Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the need to tweet to the void about this Jaylen Brown trade. Like, this is, I think, the second worst superstar return. I think this is the second worst trade that I've seen in my NBA lifetime. Now, it's not going back to Kareem and obviously things like that, but just in terms of what Boston got, like, this is a negative contract asset in Paul George, and there's some confusion with what one of the picks is. Some say the Clippers are involved, some say they aren't. But either way, like, Jaylen Brown is one of the 15 to 20 best players in the NBA. Cut and dry. Analytics can say what they want. Watch the games, late in games. This guy got buckets when the Celtics needed. He got him the spots they needed to be in. And now they just kind of dump him, just seemingly to kind of get off him. And Boston fans should be mad. Like, I don't know what the point of this is unless there's some other move to make. And even if there is, like, that other move's probably someone like a Trey Murphy. It's like, well, Trey Murphy's great. He's not Jaylen Brown, and he's never going to be Jaylen Brown. And so you just got way worse. You stayed about as expensive. And I just think it's an albatross of a move. I think that this is the only trade worse, obviously, your team benefited from, with Nico just giving Luka Doncic to the Lakers. But I think this one comes in clearly a tier or two below that, because that's unlike anything we'll probably ever see again. But it's the next one down for me. I can't think of another one that in the moment was as bad, because at least with the Paul George, Kawhi that ended up being the SGA trade, like, at least in the moment, everyone kind of got it. It was like, well, it's a huge price to pay, but we kind of see what's going on. With this one, I don't think anyone sees what's going on. Philly, how is VJ Edgecombe not in this trade? How is Phylon not in this trade? Like, get something young and under control, and instead they get 2 draft picks under control. They don't get anything. This is a disaster of a trade, and I don't know how a GM who has the resume of Brad Stevens does something like this. It's such a departure of how good he's shown to be in the past.
Because Joe and I have been very complimentary, which hurts us to no end. Trust us, Caleb. It hurts us to no end to compliment anything Celtics, but we have been. As far as complimentary to Brad Stevens on how he's run the team and the decisions that he's made up until today. But this is just, I don't know. Did somebody have like blackmail photos of him or something like that? I just don't get. I don't get it. I don't understand I understand that they needed to move off of Jaylen Brown, but to do so for such a small price, like you said, like the Luka trade, comparatively speaking, it just seemed like it was just something that's head scratching. When you were just talking about the rumors had that the Boston wanted 3 or 4 first round picks, et cetera, to get off Jaylen Brown. Maybe it's that contract that he has. I don't know if it's that just unattractive, but again, you're still getting a player in his prime that could do a lot of things, Caleb.
Yeah. I mean, there's no justification for it, truly. Like, I don't think it takes a bunch of analysis. Like, it's just a horrible trade. Your team is clearly going to be worse. You punted on value probably by not trading him last year with another year of not supermax contractual control on him. And you kind of, like, I get that this was a successful regular season for the Celtics, but it was obviously a massive failure of the playoffs. And then to boot, on top of all this, you trade him to your second or biggest rival, depending on how you rank the Lakers. And I mean, obviously, I think Lakers Celtics is the biggest one, but you're probably second biggest rival in Philly, and you do it for very little. In my OKC world, like, me and my friends who were joking around about it, what we compared this to was like if we got a notification on our phone that the Thunder had traded Jalen Williams to the Spurs for De'Aaron Fox. It's like, what is going on? Like, this, it would melt my brain. That's what this was to me, except worse because De'Aaron Fox isn't 36 years old. So this is just indefensible. I don't know. Again, maybe there's more moves down the line. Maybe they turn that Paul George contract and extra picks into like 2 to 3 good players instead of 1 great player. But as of now, I just think that you're clearly worse, and you just kind of closed your title window and made your arch rival better. I don't know how this Boston team goes from here to back to winning the championship anytime soon.
I agree with you on that. But again, with Philadelphia, and let me bring Legend in on this. Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. When it comes to what they did as far as Boston, essentially giving Jaylen Brown to Philadelphia for some not a great return. I'll just leave it at that. In Philly, you still have to ride everything on Joel Embiid's health, and that's the thing. They can only, I believe, get so far. You could correct me if I'm wrong, Kayla, for Legend or Joe. But again, I still think everything rides on Embiid's health on a playoff run, which he has shown he's not able to do. Some of it has been out of his realm. Some of it's been, some of it's been within his realm. But when it comes right down to it, Legend, if they stay healthy, it looks great. But that's a lot. That's a big ask for Joel Embiid.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's asking a lot for someone who has pretty rough health history to ask to stay healthy. That's asking a lot. Honestly, you might be lucky if he went 60 games. You probably did good to get that coming out of him. On paper, this looked like a team that should come out the East. On paper. But too bad paper is not real life. 9 out of 10, Embiid is gonna miss a lot of time. It's gonna happen. It's gonna come down to what can Jaylen Brown, what can the rest of your young core, what can they do? What can Tyrese Maxey? It's going to come down to them to dictate whether or not how far Philadelphia can go. If you count on Embiid, I can go and tell you what you need to do. Get your bags, go on and get ready to go to Cancun and enjoy yourself because you ain't finna go nowhere if you counting on him. You're going to have to count on them other two to be able to really do it. Embiid need to be the icing on the top, I would say. But that trade was terrible. I don't see at least 3 bad trades in my life now as an NBA fan. I don't see Nico get himself fired. Brad Stevens, I don't know what happened, man. I don't know if maybe you had a sip of the wrong wine or maybe you had too much Hennessy. I don't know what you did before you made that decision. But that was a bad trade. Then Rob Winning got – I don't want to bring a bad memory for y'all on that part. But Rob Winning did what he did on that part. Those were some bad trades. That trade is right up there with the rest of them. It was a bad trade. I don't understand exactly what you're trying to do, but it looked like you're going backwards instead of forward. And I guess they're gonna bet everything on Tatum at this point too. Without Tatum still a good player and all that. But I don't know about them injuries now. You just had another one that happened, so that makes you be a little cautious. At least maybe not put the red light up, but I put a yellow sign for caution. But it's just a little weird that they make that move. That's a little weird. You went from a young up-and-coming star to a aging past his prime all-star. I don't understand that trade. If that was anybody else, you might have got fired. Just saying.
Joe, bringing Joe into here as well. Joe Soro from the Joe Soro Experiment. Joe, let me ask you this. Just a few days ago, Boston looked like they were one of the leaders in the clubhouse for Giannis Antetokounmpo, which would have added along nicely alongside Jason Tatum. A few days later, we're now looking at Paul George alongside Jason Tatum. And I don't know whose legs are weaker at this point in time because both those guys have had leg issues, considerable leg issues in the recent past. So with that said, Joe, I don't know what's going on in Boston, but hey, it's all good because it just ensures they're not winning another title from us this year.
That's the good part about this. And we had some discussions on a few shows here this week about that's never going to happen. Every time somebody says that's never going to happen, someone says, wait, I just saw a deal for Jaylen Brown going to Philly. Wait, what? Boston to Philly? Wait, Boston's going to send Jaylen Brown to Philly? And they must have gotten Edgecombe. They must have gotten Maxey and then maybe a first-round pick, something like that, right? Well, they got nothing. This reminded me of the Paul Gasol trade. It reminds me of the Paul Gasol trade. I'm sitting there waiting to hear LO, Andrew Bynum. And I'm like, because at that time I had a Razor phone, and you had a little writing in there, and then my buddy's texting, right? I'm driving to LA. I'll never forget, February 1st, 2008. Never forget. He just wrote me, Lakers just got a steal. And the whole time I'm reading that, I'm thinking, we got Jason Kidd. Yeah. I hope we didn't give them both Andrew Bynum and LO. I was going, for sure one of them, but hopefully not both. All of a sudden, he calls me. He goes, you just got Pau Gasol for Javaris Crittenton, the rights to the second-round pick for Marc Gasol and Kwame Brown. And I'm still waiting. Oh, and then they mentioned McKee, Aaron McKee. I think Aaron McKee hadn't played like in a year and a half. I'm like, Aaron McKee? This is a joke? So Aaron McKee got a call. Hey, you want to make a couple $1,000,000 so we can put
he
you
did
in
that
trade?
the last part of his career, Joe. That was the last. And props to him, Joe, because he was that player in what more than one multiple trade.
So
yeah, for the last
there's a similar story that I learned recently that Bob Hoskins, God rest his soul. Bob Hoskins is an actor, for those of you that don't know, the guy that played Mario in the Mario movie with John Leguizamo. I know it didn't do well, but it's a cult classic these days. Bob was used by Brian De Palma for The Untouchables to play Al Capone. And it's funny because thinking back then, I'm like, man, he looks like Al Capone. Bob Hoskins looks like Al Capone. Well, long story short, Robert De Niro got the part, of course, because Robert De Niro brings more, eyes to the picture. And of course, he killed it, like he always kills it. And the deal was, De Palma used Bob Hoskins as a decoy. Hey, if you guys don't do this, I'm going to do this. I don't know the exact story because he didn't explain it. All he explained was he got paid $260,000 to say he was interested. And then Brian De Palma got this is Bob Hoskins telling the story too. He got his guy De Niro. That was done, and then he sent Bob Hoskins $260,000 for helping him bridge that situation. And Bob goes, "Hey, Brian, if you ever need anyone to not be in a movie, please don't ever hesitate to call me." So the deal here in today times is something that you guys have to start to get ready for too. In the era of aprons, in the era of supermax contracts, this is going to happen more than you think. Especially if leverage is all but gone, which Boston had zero leverage trading Jaylen Brown. They got jacked. I said this on the last show. They went for the home run. Actually, they went for the grand slam, knowing if they don't get the grand slam, they're going to lose the game. And they did. They did because all 29 teams knew they were desperate to trade Jaylen Brown, and no one wanted to give Jaylen Brown equal trades. And a lot of that also has to do with his money. That's the thing. A lot of it has to do with his money. So here you are. You just gave the Sixers one last shot with the Joel Embiid era. If he can play healthy throughout the Eastern playoffs, and again, the East is it's a crapshoot. It's as parodied as it's ever been. There's a shot now Philly can get to the finals. Finally get to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Joel Embiid, team. So, and again, I use the example of this is like the Lakers sending someone of Jaylen Brown's ilk to the Spurs. You just helped your interconference rival. Basically, you're gonna have to see them probably 8 times at least, 8 to 12 times, 8 to 11 times, possibly here in the next year. And for the basketball fan, this is a good thing. For a Laker fan, it's obviously a good thing because that lessens the ability for Boston to win even more. And now we have to wait to see if Kessler ascends from what he's been. And that's really what has to happen here for this deal to make sense. Do the Lakers believe that these players that just brought in are going to be enhanced by Luka Doncic? And is the timing going to be right in that they improve their game when they're in LA? That's a hard question to answer because when you come to LA with the Lakers, what does the pressure do? Are these guys going to be able to handle the pressure of winning in LA? Because it's the same as being in New York and being a Yankee. It's the exact same thing. Might be worse. But again, because I think Yankee fans have accepted that they're mediocre, but at least mediocre in the Yankee realm, not in, MLB realm. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of questions. Some will be answered, some won't. But yeah, after all that's happened, the Boston Celtics came in here at the end here and had the worst deal of the offseason so far.
I did see that deal for Santi Aldama, Frank. Again, he has played well for Memphis, and so I believe as someone coming off the bench, he'll play well for you guys. Again, I still don't understand why that they're not even looking more into being more active on Kyrie Irving, because he just as double the age of Cooper Flag. Almost, it just doesn't make sense timeline-wise why you want to keep those two together. I just think with Kyrie Irving, you have a chance to maybe find some assets that fit along the timeline. And Joe mentioned the one thing, Caleb, about all these trades today, whether you like them or the moves and the signings by the Lakers or not, it does make this team younger. And it does put them now on a different timeline. They don't have a 41-year-old they have to deal with on his timeline. You don't have players in their 30s that they're on their timeline. They have players all under the age of 30 as far as their main rotation and roster of players, Caleb. And again, you who have covered a team that had a similar or has still a similar type of timeline, it allows you to go ahead and see if these kids or young guys will develop, to see if you can make changes from there. But you're right, Caleb. In the end, there better be more hits than misses because, like you said, there's not many assets that you have now, unlike they have with your OKC Thunder, to be able to move off of guys if they're not working out as planned.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that isn't the Spurs or Thunder's in a really hard spot right now in the West is the reality situation. The Lakers are one of the few teams who can at least maybe have belief that they can compete because of how the greatness of Luka Doncic, right? Like you have one of the guys that you need. You can't win a title or you can't go far without one of those guys, and the Lakers have one of those guys. You
will have to be a top 3 player in order for this team.
And he does, and I think that he's one of few who's capable of doing that, right? Like there's probably only 6 guys in the NBA right now that are currently realized. We'll see with the Cooper Flags and guys like that, but that right now we think can maybe swim in those waters depending on how well they're playing at that moment. And the Lakers have one of them. But they are taking some risks here. Like Mamushvili, Mamu, has not a ton of great tape out there. Like he had a good season with Toronto last year, but he fell out of the rotation by the end of the year. And now he very well could be in a starting spot on a team that has aspirations to make a deep playoff run. That's a risk. I've said a few times already, I like the Grimes move. I don't love the Sexton fit here, although I do think the Lakers had a need for another ball handler, so I don't hate it by any means. And it's a very manageable contract. But
something off the bench.
Yeah, and he, for what the price was, I don't hate that move. That's not one where I'm throwing my hands up like, what are you doing? It's more of it's a lot of gambles, and that's because the way the marketplace played out for the Lakers, they're going to have to gamble on some guys, and they did. But one thing I would keep an eye on, since we did bring up Dallas, is with that Aldama trade, they're pretty forward heavy now. They have kind of a lot of these switchy, weird, valuable forwards. And the Lakers have a contract I'm sure that they can move and they'd like to get off of in Vanderbilt. It's going to be hard with their lack of resources now. And this is kind of the point I was going to, where there's just not a ton of assets for them to move anymore. But say if I was the Lakers, I'd be maybe trying to get a guy like a Najee Marshall or a Derrick Jones Jr., someone like that, who I think Derrick Jones, especially, he's not on the Mavs anymore, obviously, but a guy like that who I think could probably be had if you were able to maybe put in another swap or something. Who knows? and move that Vanderbilt contract. Because I just think that it's a lot of unrealized and maybes with the Lakers right now. And Lakers fans, as we can see here, they don't want maybes. And it's a league where you need sure things because San Antonio has sure things, and they signed another one today. Whether you like Tobias Harris or not, you know what Tobias Harris is going to bring you. OKC obviously has sure things up and down the roster. So they're just in this hard spot of you have one of these guys, which is the key to winning. So it's amazing and you're in a lucky position to have one, but it also means you have to go for it right now. Maybe you have to make some moves and overpay some guys. And what I thought was weird, and this doesn't really matter, but giving all these player options on the end of these deals for players who I don't necessarily think should command player options, just little things like that. Joe kind of pointed to it last night, even with like things like the Bronny thing, and these are not the same, but there's just all these little weird asset management things that Pelinka's done that I just think make it hard to win in the long term. And part of those are going to be like, if those would have been like, who's going to pay Mamu more than that realistically, right? Like who's going to give him near a full taxpayer's mid-level? I don't think the marketplace was probably that broad for that. I just think that if you could have done that and put a team option on it, then that would have made it more appealing. But the Lakers have kind of put themselves in a place now where this is the team, and it's going to be hard to move off of this and have a different team. And that's kind of just what it is. I don't know that I have a ton more thoughts on it, really. We'll see. It's going to be really hard for anyone to beat OKC or San Antonio. But I think the Lakers have a puncher's chance because they have Luka. And to be fair, I don't know that anybody else has more than a puncher's chance right now. So I respect the try by Pelinka. I don't necessarily love the moves. And I think his asset management has just been atrocious for a few years now. Whether that's the Westbrook trade, which you can put on him, but that was really Clutch was the GM for that. We all know
that's on him. I'm not giving him an out on that. He's okay. The guy at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what is the old adage is Clutch run the team or Rob's running the team. If Clutch is running the team, then Rob needed to go a long time ago because your GM's supposed to be running your team, Caleb.
They're paying you to run the team, buddy.
For sure. And when LeBron was LeBron, that wasn't how it worked anywhere.
I'm sorry. You got a position. You have got to run it, Caleb. And if you know something smells, that Westbrook trade smelled from the very beginning.
So the Westbrook trade's a disaster. You trade, the weird way that they got the second, then they traded the second for Kennard just to kind of let him walk for a pretty manageably
that was a good one
contract.
Too, yeah.
Things like he's just really struggled with things like that basic asset management stuff that by the end of the day, like you just kind of run out of stuff. And now the Lakers are there and this is the team. So we'll see how the team does. I said this earlier, but I do want to kind of go a little more in. I do think Kessler will be highly productive for the Lakers. I think that Luka.
I think so too. But is he going to be a A-list center, which is what the ultimate promise was? And that's the thing. Will he develop into that? Because he's not one yet. But there is definitely the possibility that he can, Caleb.
Yeah, and injuries have been a thing with him, right? And some of those are tank injuries where I'm sure he would have played a lot more if he was on a team trying to win, certainly. But either way, injuries have been a thing with him. But yeah, they're in a hard spot because everyone needs a center now more than ever recently because of the emerging power that is Wembanyama, right? Like you got to have bodies to throw at him. I kind of talked about that yesterday too. And the Lakers went and got one who projects is someone who's going to be able to protect the rim and get rebounds and be a really good pick and roll partner who has shown some willingness to shoot threes over the last few years that I think could maybe be further developed. And if that's the case, then it changed everything, but I'll believe that when I see it. The Kessler thing's hard because I think it's undeniable that they gave up too much. Even I think they maybe paid him too much, but that's the nature of restricted free agency. And then the trade, I think it's undeniable they gave up too much both in cap space and assets, but I also think he could be highly productive. So in the end, I don't think they'll look back and feel terrible about it, but I also don't think that he's necessarily the key to all of a sudden this is a team that's right there with San Antonio and Oklahoma City.
Just wanted to mention to Trojan, fight on Trojan Legend. I got you next, right? By the way, just want to mention the Lakers' next first-round draft pick, if nothing changes for today, is 2028. But it's a swap with Utah. So Utah gets the better of the first round picks. So the Lakers do not have control meaning they either have given up or have swapped for, is it the next 5 or 7 years, Joe?
I didn't think they had control of a pick till 2032.
7.
Okay, so 7. So
they
7.
They can't maneuver 7 anything the next 7 years. They can't use anything for the next 7
They
years.
have one swap left. They have one swap left and 1 second round left. That's what they have left in assets, according to Bobby Marks. So I'm looking at that right now. So with that said, Legend, the one thing I did want to ask in all this free agency, you let some players go. You've got some players coming in. And with that said, the Lakers did have some productive players go. Caleb mentioned Luke Kennard, who we traded Gabe Vincent, although again, getting rid of Gabe Vincent, obviously, that was the best part about it. But the second round pick that, poof, that went up in thin air because again, Luke Kennard left to Phoenix for about $6 million. And the theme here is $6 million. Jackson Hayes just signed earlier today with Utah Jazz, a very particular, had his best, I think Joe was right on the money. He had his best season in the NBA this past season. He just got signed on a 2-year deal for, you guessed it, right around $6 million. And Marcus Smart, who is the Lakers' best point of attack defender, left to the Houston Rockets for, guess what? $6.5 million. So be that as it may, I just want to hear your thoughts on the type of talent that left and the type of talent compared to the type of talent that came in for the Lakers. Not putting Kessler aside, but the other guys that came in free agency. Your thoughts on that, my friend? Because they were more expensive as a group than the group that just left.
Well, I will say, to me, the biggest thing about what you just got versus what you just lost with your supporting cast is you got younger. That, to me, is the big deal. You got younger. That's something you needed to do. Losing Marcus Smart, that's going to hurt. I'm not going to lie. That is going to hurt. So you're going to hope Grimes and these others can step up defensively to make up for that. But the fact that you got younger, to me, is the biggest deal out of all of it. You got guys more around Luka's timeline, and that's what you need. To me, losing Luke, that's a big hurt. Hurt your shooting. Losing, most likely going to probably lose Rui. Yeah, that's a hurt. But, it's the cost that comes with the program. But for the most part, I'm not too mad about who they got was. I think that was pretty decent. I'm not crazy about Colin Sexton like that, but it's not bad moves at all. Like I said, the only thing I think I had a little question mark on was the 3 and 4. I thought the 3 and 4, the people who will be in your 3 and 4, I don't really feel like they're real starters. They're more like, to me, come off the bench. But
yeah, if they'd have been bench players, I'm good with that because that's a lot of firepower coming off the bench. But once you put them as starters, that dynamic changes, Legend. Again, then you're left with another weak bench going into the season.
And I will say this based off of what you brought in and all, JJ, he's gonna have to play the younger guys. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to play Carr. You're gonna have to play the other kid from last year too, who had a lot of athleticism. You're gonna have to play them. You got no choice right now. You can't run from him. You gotta play him. You got to. Because what else you got coming off the bench at this point? You're gonna have to do it. But that's, to me, the thing that really got to improve is that 3 and 4. To me, everything else is not that bad. If you were able to scoot those 3 and 4 to your bench, hey, I'd be like, Rob, I gotta give you credit. You cooking on this one. But them in your starting lineup, that's not it too much. But can't do everything in one run. So not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Joe, we've heard a lot of criticisms all day. Again, I even see the top analysts like for the Lakers, Jovan Buha, guys like Trevor Lane. They're trying to hedge their bets at this point in time as well, and even they are not giving overwhelmingly glowing reviews at this time. Where do you see weaknesses, though? Again, a lot is placed on Kessler as far as his development and growth, and I'm hoping he'll do it, and there's a good chance that he will. But with outside, it's outside of what he brings to the table, are you concerned at all as far as what has been talked about as far as lack of depth, the lack of defense and the lack of rebounding still, especially in the front court outside of Kessler, and how you're basing a lot, like Legend says, on Adu Thiero and Carr becoming rotation pieces sooner rather than later.
Well, those are your standout wing players. If Thiero can walk 2 steps without pulling a groin, it's amazing to me. I know I didn't play organized basketball like these guys, but I did watch a lot of guys come up for years with less technological advantages, less nutritional advantages, less of everything. And I don't remember this kind of stuff. It was always like an amazing thing when someone like Ralph Sampson got injured and can't play. It was a rarity when stuff like that happened. It was an anomaly. Every one of these freaking guys is injured every year, all day. Wemby, I remember like at game 60, they're like holding on a thread. Is this guy going to be able to play 65 games? I mean, the guy weighs like 4 pounds. What's going on here? He does yoga for 15 hours a day. Like, well, what is this all for then? So I don't know if I can say I'm going to hold out hope for a 2nd-round pick and a 25th pick. I don't think that's very smart. But there's no choice. If they want to speed this up, Carr's got to be an effective player immediately. Really within the next year or 2. I'm not going to go all in on a rookie thing. Rookie NBA players they're going into this in the NBA blind no matter how good they are. So Thiero is raw as raw chicken from the butcher. I mean, he's raw. He needs time. But can he stay healthy in his young age? I don't know. If he can, cool, because he's got the athleticism and he's got the instinct. I saw a lot of those plays when he was in there. I'm like, man, if you can just get a little bit of control and catch up to the NBA speed, there's an asset there. Carr, I know that his strengths are something that they need. He can shoot. He's athletic. He jump out the building, but he can't handle the ball. Definitely can't handle the ball in traffic right now. And the speed of the game, if he had issues with focus in college, he's going to have a problem in the pros for a while. So I'm gonna put a button on this. If this team is to surprise this year, it'll mean that J.J. Redick is the best coach in the NBA. Because that's what they're going to need. They're going to need J.J. to devise a plan. And, of course, the chemistry hits, and Luka is the MVP without an argument. You got to have a lot of that stuff going on before you really, really know. And then, of course, you got to wait to see these guys get. Are they going to make it through an 82-game season and 2.5 months? Carino, I didn't give my address out. I gave my business address out.
Yeah, I said his work address. Yeah, because Vari's looking for it. Vari's going to leave Australia now. He's going to meet you.
I have better ammunition at work than I do at home.
Just to give you an idea, Caleb, somebody actually did threaten him on.
I have an army ranger who rents the place next to me, and he's a psychopath.
Yeah, Joe called him out. He said, "Okay, I'll meet you." What's your address? Joe gave him his business address.
He used to love. He loved his time in Afghanistan. He's one of the few guys. And then my other guy, Vaughn, he works at March Air Force Base for the Air Force. He's not in the Air Force. He was another ranger in the Army, but he works for the Air Force now. He's another one that did some fun stuff in Afghanistan. So yeah, I got a good group around here, guys. Again, the key to life is to have good friends. Because I can defend myself, and I have a family and I have kids. I got to be around for my girls. I can't risk, being stupid, but I am going to defend myself. And then again, at the same time, You want to play around, come into my hood, then you're going to have to deal with the guys that are around my hood too, because we've got a lot of loyalty around here. Good friends, loyalty, take care of people. That's what you build.
What did you get? What did you say to get threatened on a basketball podcast?
Well, so Mike Tyson said something a few years back.
And this isn't the first time, Caleb.
Yeah,
just wanted to let
Mike Tyson said something a few years back, and it just kind of clicked for me. People have gotten way too comfortable talking, insulting people online. So I'm tired of it too. If you want to talk to me, why don't you come say that to my face? No one. It's very easy.
That's what he
do
said.
It's very easy to do it like
exactly
this.
What he said.
Yeah, it's very easy. Oh, you suck. Okay, I suck. Come tell me to my face. But no one's gonna do that. I mean, if there were a million people, maybe one nut would do it. But then again, good luck. You better not come with some bullshit, because I got cameras and I got Tommy next to me. He just happens to be named Tommy, and he's got a lot of guns. So, but he actually doesn't like guns. He used them, but he likes to do other things.
Not a lot of guns, but he doesn't like guns.
He doesn't. He likes to do things a little bit more methodical.
Okay, fair enough.
Again,
but yes, Caleb, that is not the first time he has.
Yeah, it's not, and it won't be the last, because a lot of these guys need to learn. It's kind of like it happens every now and then where you can tell certain people wear people down, because most people are not confrontational, and they're not gonna say anything, and they'll just deal with somebody insulting them. Well, once in a great while, if you can spot somebody you can tell is an entitled asshole, you make that one comment, they'll remember you every time they think about doing something like that. And again, it's never a fisticuff type thing. It doesn't go to that route. But it's a timing thing, and it's a verbal thing where you can kind of make an impact there. I remember this is an old man. Obviously, I wasn't going to do anything to him, but the old man was this one old man at the P.O. box place I was getting my mail at. He got upset that somebody parked at in an area where it was, I don't know, red zone or whatever. And he goes, I always wondered why people park somewhere where they shouldn't park. And I was looking at the parking lot, and there was nobody there. I can understand if there was a handicap place, car that was trying to get in. I get it. And the first comment that came to my head is do you always ask people you don't know stupid questions? And he just his eyes bugged out, and I left. And it's moments like that I live for. But the timing has to be right. The right instigator needs to say the right thing at the right time. And that's just something that I guess I get off on. But here, this is a little bit more direct. Again, Mike Tyson said people got really comfortable talking shit online. So if you're going to talk shit, well, come tell me to my face. Am I risking my life? Could it be a psychopath? Sure, but I'm a fucking psychopath too. So, it's even. And I'll be ready. Again, I'd be ready. I wouldn't be stupid sitting there with no shirt on waiting for some dipshit to come and do something. I'm going to be prepared. But at the same time, it's you know what? I'm sick and tired of this. I'm tired of it. Stop talking shit. If you're going to talk shit, be a man, grow some balls, and come say somebody to somebody's face. Nobody does that.
All right.
There you go. That's the button on that.
Okay, fair enough. Once again, this is not the fighting podcast. This is, of course, NBA observations.
It's entertaining, though.
Yes, it is entertaining, especially when it took place on our previous show. It's NBA observations with legend from My God Next.
And then if I did get shot, then I'd be the dumbest guy.
That's true. Joe Storo and Caleb Ponce. Caleb, let me bring it to you. A while back, JY asked the question: all the superstars to come to the Lakers via free agency or draft. Does Luka have the least to work with as of right now, in your opinion?
I guess what does that mean? In terms of I guess I don't get the question.
Compared to some of his other teams, like the one he took the run with Dallas to the NBA Finals.
Oh, okay. I guess, yeah.
I
wouldn't say the least to work with, because I think last year's team, while it had talented players, was just a really poor fit with how Luka wants to play. I just think another really ball dominant guy in Reeves who struggles defensively. That last stretch of the season, I thought LeBron and Reeves and Luka kind of had a feel, but LeBron and Luka was never a good fit. Hence why LeBron's going to be playing somewhere probably on the minimum or taxpayers MLE instead of being back on the Lakers for another big deal.
That's going to burn us, Caleb. That's really going to make us mad that he didn't do that last year, but he does it this year.
Well, yeah, like I think I said yesterday, like everybody is all about happiness and I'm just going to go win. That's when the money dries up. The reality is probably the Lakers were going to pay him about, they'll probably going to offer him, like if he goes to the Warriors, it'll be for the non-taxpayers MLE, like $15 million or whatever. And that's probably what the Lakers are going to get. But so, I mean, I think, is it his worst supporting cast? No. I think for Luka's players who struggle defensively as much as Luka is in this new last few years NBA, that's really, I think, defensively slanted right now between what OKC does and what San Antonio does, even more so because of what Wemby is. To insulate and then even so, Brunson's a similar, like they're different players, but similar where he's your superstar and he's bad defensively. The Knicks to do that had to build this roster of like elite defenders up and down. You got OG Anunoby, you got Mikal Bridges, you got Josh Hart, you got Mitchell Robinson, you got Cat who plays good defense when he wants to. And then you have a few like heat checkers like a Deuce McBride or whatever. But so I think that, and you go back to like what Luka had, and it was Kyrie. So that's the Reeves thing. That's why I think if I was a Lakers fan, I believe in the Reeves thing, because the Kyrie thing is somewhat proof of concept that if you put the right players around those types of players Luka can make that work and get to a finals and in a situation to win a championship. I think a guy like Kessler is a really good start to that. But I think that where the Lakers are going to struggle to find is these big athletic defensive wings. They're really hard to find for anyone in the league. And I think Rui was at least like the size that you'd want. Although I think he's underwhelming defensively. He's at least the size and shooting. And now they just don't really have that on the roster unless an Adu Thiero or Cam Carr hits. So you need those guys to hit because I don't know what the other avenue to acquiring them is. But I think the pieces of what could start to be a team like that are here with Kessler and Reeves and Luka. But like I've said, I mean, with what went out in this Kessler trade, it's going to be really hard to surround him with the quality of players he needs, because you look back at how they got those other guys, how they got Gafford, how they got PJ Washington, how they got Derrick Jones. Derrick Jones is kind of an off the scrap heap guy, but they traded for PJ Washington. They traded for Gafford because they realized midseason they had these holes you need to plug with Luka as your guy. And the Lakers don't really have an avenue to plugging those holes, I think. So is it his worst situation? No, he's been in worse situations. But I don't, the rest of the league is better than it was when they made the finals, frankly. And the Lakers are really strapped for getting better now. It's going to be all about internal development, hitting on low budget guys, or hoping that these guys you brought in like a Mamu or like a Kessler maybe take a step or two up.
Legend, let me bring it back to you. Truly appreciate you guys stopping by. It is NBA Observations. Wanted to go ahead and ask you this, Legend, in regards to one of your teams, the Golden State Warriors. Caleb's team with Oklahoma City, they've been quiet for obvious reasons. They just financially, they're trying to make sure they figure everything out first before they move from there. But with your Golden State Warriors, who were once in that quagmire of financial oblivion, they're not now. But after the curious decision on re-signing Kristaps Porzingis to a deal that, as we said earlier, could make him eligible to be traded now, as in now. He can be traded to any team now based on the deal that he signed. You don't have to wait until December or January or anything like that. You can trade him literally right now. If that's the case, though, what is going on in the Bay Area right now? I mean, the pending LeBron, will he, won't he type deal, but there's got to be something going on there, because it's going to take more than LeBron to make that team competitive in a final run for Steph Curry.
It looking like LeBron got the whole franchise that's on pause, because they look like they might really think they got a real chance to get him. I mean,
we got heard that before, Legend.
You know, Draymond out here just posting stuff on the thunder clouds and all that, like a storm is coming. I'm like, what do you know, buddy? Tell the world.
LeBron hosts. So you're saying LeBron is holding that team hostage, huh?
Oh, we don't seen that before. I know we know that very well.
I wonder where. Wonder where. Huh. Oh well, must be nothing. Go ahead, Legend. I'm sorry.
So when they don't get him and you're screwed and you wasted up the whole summer, you know why? Because you sat there and took a chance on a very small percentage that he actually come. Who knows? And even if you do come, you still ain't gonna win. You're not going to win. Like maybe you might be a little better. You taking your first steps better. You might be a little better, but you're not winning no championship. And that's the biggest thing. So it looked like they're on pause trying to see what's going to happen with this LeBron thing. Who knows? LeBron might not even make a decision to the end of July or August. You never know. You just never know. It looks like they're just putting all their eggs in the basket for him. That's what it looks like. Because I don't know if you noticed, Gerald. It's been quiet over there. You ain't heard nothing. Been pretty quiet.
Been pretty quiet indeed, my friend. Caleb, I'm going to go ahead and hit you up with Kawhi here in a second. But Joe, are the Lakers done? Do they have any options really left? I know we talked about before the rumors that Vando might be waived and stretched.
I think there's a legitimate option there if they feel that they need one more player, which they do, that can help. I just don't know who that player is yet. There's a talk about Kuminga. Kuminga's not necessarily a 3-and-D type, but could be another young player that they can use because he's not a bad player. He's just not – I don't think he's as good as – he reminds me of a less obnoxious Dion Waiters. Remember Dion Waiters thought he was the best sliced bread in the NBA, but his game never connected with that. But Kuminga, Steve Kerr might be an asshat, but there's a reason why Steve Kerr didn't play him. There's something off about him. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's his game's just not good enough. I don't know. But if they feel like this guy might help somebody like him, you have to. I don't like extending contracts when you don't want to, but this team needs talent. It needs talent in a bad way, and if it means that you got to pay a couple extra $1 million here and there, this isn't Jeannie and her nickel and diming stuff. This is the Mark Walter group. They're going to be okay paying a couple of $1 million for dead contracts for a couple of years. They'll figure it out. But I think that will be an option. 100% that may be an option if there's a player that they feel like they need $7 million to throw at. I believe that'll happen. And for me, selfishly, I don't want Vando and Bronny on the team in October. If you really want me to be honest, I don't want them on the team. I want them gone. They're bad for morale. They're bad for talent-wise to me. I just don't want to see those guys play and come in and be a monkey wrench in this thing. We already know that JJ doesn't want to play Vando most of the time. He's over it. I can say the same thing about DeAndre Ayton a little bit too, but he's making too much money to get dropped. Plus, he can be an asset as a backup center. The only thing is, I hope he doesn't just disease the team with his attitude.
He might be a malcontent, Joe.
He is a malcontent. So they may have to make a decision on him if he goes overboard, let's say towards the end of the year. You know what? This is not going to work. And I don't know who they're going to have to back him up. But again, Mando, might be the guy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to play out. But I feel pretty confident that if there's an opportunity for them to get a player that would really, really help them, that stretching of the Vando contract will be an option, and they will execute it. And I know I'd be happy just knowing that Vando's not on the team.
You and I both, my friend. You and I both. But then that.
And it sounds personal, and it's such a.
You've never been on Vando Hill.
Jared Vanderbilt is such I have zero problem with. I don't have a problem with Bronny or Vando. I'll hear myself talk like this about a guy, and it sounds personal. It's not.
But you don't know them.
I don't. It's really not. Congratulations, you guys made it. Okay, every NBA player made it in life. Congratulations. God bless you and your family. But this is about basketball. This is what I was telling you about Will Clark about why he doesn't coach. You know, he can't coach because he can't tell you suck, because people take things personally and they cry and they don't handle constructive criticism. I don't know any other way. I'm 48 years old. I'm out of that. Let me be your friend world. I can't be Doc. I can't be Dave Roberts. I can't. Dave Roberts is like that, and that's why he's successful now. But I want this team to not have any dead weight for once. I don't dead weight that they have to play. That's the thing. There's always going to be a doghouse player, right? Always. Like when they were winning championships with Luke Walton, everybody couldn't stand Luke Walton's contract, but Luke Walton didn't have to play. They didn't have to play him. Jared Vanderbilt, and of course, when LeBron was here, they had to play Bronny. And because there was a lack of wing help and defense and athleticism, they had to play Vando. But the problem is, for every good play he would make, he'd make two horrid plays. So it was the classic step forward, 2 steps back every time, except for maybe an anomaly game every now and then. And that's just it. When you want to win a championship, you can't screw around. And if you don't believe me, all you got to do is watch the San Antonio Spurs play in the finals. Those guys should have swept the Knicks. But because of inexperience and the inability to create a 7'50" player to get close to the basket was hard for these guys. They couldn't do it. Coach Johnson couldn't do it. Wemby couldn't figure it out. The surrounding town couldn't figure it out. And it cost them a championship when it shouldn't. They should have ended that series at most at 5, not losing 5. So all these little things that I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about. You can't afford. You want this team to make a run. You want the Luka era to be competing for championships. There is no margin of error. You don't have enough talent to have margin of error. You just don't. So what do you do when things are not equipped correctly? You better be efficient with that equipment. And you're not going to be efficient having Bronny and the Vanderbilts playing or hovering around. Just the reality of it. The reality of it. And by the way, why is Marvin Bagley III breaking news that he signed? Who the hell and what the hell are you doing? I'm looking at Marvin Bagley. Man, Marvin, is he still in the league? And then I click and I'm like, breaking news?
All I say is he averaged 10 points and shot 45% from 3 last year. So
who are you going to?
But because the expectations, I mean, as a starter, as a draft.
What is your infatuation with 3-point shots?
Okay,
no, just telling you what his stats were.
This is the Darko Milicic of the Luka draft.
He's better than Darko.
You're right, he is, but he is the Darko of this.
I'm just saying, if your expectations are low for him, like a guy coming off the bench.
My expectation is I don't want to hear breaking news. Marvin Bagley III signed somewhere.
I'm not the one giving the breaking news.
And then right away, you got to bring up the 3-point shot. Well, he did shoot 38%.
No, 45% from 3. I told you that's why he's still in the league, is because he's a big man who can shoot. So there you go. You wanted to know why he's still in the league. There you go. Got an instant answer.
I didn't ask that question.
All right.
I said, why is it breaking news?
I don't know why it's breaking news, because it just happened, I guess. And they got nothing else to report on as far as ESPN is concerned. Good. So don't ask me to talk to ESPN.
Good. That's a good question. That's a good answer then. Yes, right, Trojan, I do believe the Lakerland are in the Kuminga business, but not heavily, but it's an option. I believe it.
Because right now, all they have is a veteran's minimum is what they have. That's it. But Caleb, there was another veteran that moved yesterday. I don't think I was able to talk to you about this. And that was Kawhi Leonard. I don't know what's going on there, because obviously the league said, you know what, it's okay to go ahead and trade him. It's not like we're going to punish him or anything for anything he's done, which I think is egregious in and of itself, because, well, that's another story for another day. I'm just waiting for the other foot to go, the other shoe to go down, and the other shoe to drop, and it not dropping very hard. and I'm just going to go off at that point in time. So with that said, your thoughts on Kawhi Leonard's strange desire to head back to the Great White North, and how good does it make that team? I know Legend put his 2 cents in. I kind of did too. I still don't see that as something that's going to be, well, as Legend said, you know what? If New York can go ahead and find their way to a title coming out of the East, you never know who can.
I think that I'll get more specifically to Kawhi, but I think in a grander scheme, these moves in the East, whether that's Kawhi and today Jaylen Brown, I guess, is now on a different team in the East. I think that this clearly shows a thought process from these teams that this Knicks run or the Pacers run, these are replicable things for these teams. Think that it can be us this year who go on the miracle run, because I don't think it's a coincidence that the last 2 years out of the East, you've had a team go on a miracle run. I think it's how many miracle runs do you see in the West? It just doesn't happen very often, right? Usually one of the handful of favorites makes it outside of maybe that Dallas team. So I think that these teams see the East and they see it as a conference that if they get hot at the right time, they can go get. And I'm a lot higher on this move than you are. I think that I don't love Quickly and I don't love Pirtle. So those are obviously 2 of their 5 starters. But I think that Pirtle's an improve upon-able guy. And Quickly's good. He's just not my idea of a point guard. And I think that when you put in Shed, it forms a really elite defensive lineup. And this is clearly a team that last year hung its hat on defense. You get rid of your worst defensive guy who's a key player, who's a key part of their playoff team in Brandon Ingram, and they replace him with Kawhi, who at times last year still was an elite defensive player when he wanted to kind of tighten his shoelaces. And I think that this gives them an incredibly high defensive ceiling, and you have a thing that you can point to. And now you have a guy at the end of games. If Scotty isn't ready yet, you have a guy who can go close out games for you. So I think that if everything goes right, this is a team that, along with, now before I say this and want to act like it's them, I think you can say this for the Knicks, the Pacers, the Sixers, the Raptors, the Cavs if LeBron goes there. I think you can say this for any of these teams. I think these could be the team this year that goes on that run. They're like, oh my God, they're in the finals and they were the 4 seed, whatever. I think the Toronto has the talent to do that. And I think that a lot of that is impingent upon Colin Murray-Boyles making his leap. And he showed a lot last year, and he's a talented enough guy to do that. So they're still like them, like Minnesota, these teams that, and Philly still with how awful their bench is right now. These are teams who made big swings that they still have holes to plug. But if they can do those, I think that unlike a team who's in a conference with an OKC or San Antonio, you can realistically say, or I don't want to discount Legends Hawks. The Hawks had I think we can get maybe into Jaylen Brown again. I don't know what the hell the Hawks were thinking, not making an offer like that. Or
there was that Magic City on the wings and enjoying themselves too much.
I'd say the same thing for Portland. I'd say the same things for a few teams. If that was the price on Jaylen Brown, I don't know why you don't get in on that, because that's just ridiculous. But I think that 81. I think that this East is going to be really interesting, and I think that the Raptors are a team that is going to be right in the thick of what makes them so interesting if Kawhi stays healthy, similar to with Philly if Joel Embiid stays healthy. And the odds are against both of those things happening, frankly. But if those teams can be right come playoff time, I think they could be really good. And I like this move for the Raptors because you do sell a lot down you sell a lot down the river a little bit, but outside of Kawhi, this core is young enough that when those picks come due, Scotty's going to be in his prime. Quickly still going to be good. Colin Murray-Boyles will be in his prime. I think they have the pieces to still be a pretty good team when these picks come due, and it's not going to be as big a deal as maybe we think it is.
We'll see what happens. But again, like Legend said yesterday, I mean, he was surprised by the Knicks going all the way, so anything can happen. And I agree with you on that, Legend. DeAnthony Melton also signed for you guys as well. I forgot to mention that as well, for 2 years, $11 million. DeAnthony Melton. So at least Golden State is doing something right there. But are there any signings from today that surprised you or that you think was good under the radar that we're not talking about? Chicago getting Norman Powell, I thought was interesting. I don't know if he'll stay his entire tenure. I think you look for him to be moved at the trade deadline. But more power to Norman Powell, who the Clippers gave up on. And he got to an all-star game with Miami And it looks like Miami gave up on him as well. So more power to him for a guy that, you know what, people, teams keep giving up on this guy, and he keeps proving them that they're wrong.
Not a bad pickup. Not a bad pickup. Like that was, I kind of figured he was going to probably walk because I didn't know how Miami can afford him. But that was a good pickup for them. Norman Powell still got a lot of game, and I think Miami will definitely miss having him. And I think the Clippers definitely miss having him right now. But that's a good pickup for Chicago. I like that pickup. It would be nice to start seeing Chicago, want to start winning some games and be at least a little relevant, be decent. So good pickup by them. I like that pickup. That was really good.
Is there any other interesting pickups that you saw today, or anything that really shocked you one way or the other, or surprised you one way or the other?
I personally
go ahead, Caleb. Go ahead, Caleb. I'll break.
I personally am a fan of the John Collins to Detroit signing that kind of happened right before the dam broke on all the Lakers news.
3 for 51, if I'm correct. Is that correct? I think it was like something like that.
3 for 51, 3 for 61. It was one of those two. Something
like
one.
Yeah.
But I think that as a bouncy kind of pick and roll partner with Cade and they kind of have a need now that Tobias Harris went to San Antonio, which from a OKC perspective, I was just delighted it wasn't Rui Hachimura that went to San Antonio. That had been kind of in the ether, and
I was thinking Rui to San Antonio was a natural.
Yeah, and the last thing that I think anybody in the league needed was this. Rui Hachimura just does not miss threes in the playoffs. So the last thing that San Antonio needed was someone of that quality. But we'll see where he ends up. That's another interesting one of the few interesting dominoes left to fall, I think. But I like the John Collins move. I think he's better than Tobias Harris, although different. We'll see. Maybe he's more of he can shoot, but I think. You had him for a while in Atlanta, legend. He always leaves you wanting a little bit more, but he's also clearly a talented guy who's going to impact winning, and I think he's in a good situation. And he is able to shoot the ball, which the Pistons need anybody who has that label on him. So, I liked that a lot. That just kind of happened early in the morning. The Powell thing I thought was interesting. I do think it maybe comes in that Bruce Brown-ish mold of basically a human. This was said on another podcast today. I don't remember to credit it, but like a human trade exception type of deal where it's like you can't just have that. You can't hold that cap space, but this is a guy who you're going to be able to kind of bring different money into, I think, at the deadline. So I think that's a smart play for Chicago, assuming that's the plan. And based on the contract structure, it looked like it probably is. I think that the Tobias thing is interesting. I don't think it makes the Spurs way different. I think he's better than Keldon Johnson, so there's that part of it. And other than that, we've already gone in depth on the Lakers thing. The Jaylen Brown thing is, I think, by far the biggest story of the day, and just the lack of teams wanting to make a move for him, clearly based off the return. But yeah, so sorry to interrupt there. I wanted to make sure we didn't kind of skip over the Collins thing, because I do think that that's probably going to be a starter on a team that won 60 games last year. And it is another team that even I just forgot is they flew under the radar as one of those teams in the East who can have that run, that can make a finals if everything goes right. And I think he's a good fit with Cade Cunningham.
Legend, anything more, a little more time to think about it? No problem, Caleb. Legend, any more time? Come up with something?
The only one something I was a little surprised of though was seeing Jackson Hayes go to Utah. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was an interesting move I saw. I was a little surprised to see him go there.
Because he's going to a loaded front court.
Not necessarily anymore. Their big piece went to the Lakers.
Yeah, big piece gone now. So.
But they got a lot of. Rotation right now is Triple J, Markkanen, Nurkic. And then they just and Filipowski. So they've got 4 7-footers right there, and then you're now adding another 7-footer in Jackson Hayes, legend. So I don't know, just kind of interesting. Although you can never have enough 7-footers, I guess, to throw around, and the Jazz will have at least 5 to go ahead and throw around. What about your thoughts on this, legend? Before I get it back to Joe, Mitchell Robinson going to the Celtics.
I forgot about that.
That was an interesting one. I mean, I was worried again that the Lakers would kind of go spend that money. Mitchell Robinson, I love his game. In fact, great, best offensive rebounder in the NBA. Obviously a big body, strong, worked well against guarding Wemby in the finals. Absolutely got to give him a ton of credit for that. But you could only play him so many minutes because of his stamina. And of course, legendary at the free throw line for all the wrong reasons. So you threw the other big deal of the day for the Boston Celtics was getting him on a 3 for $47 million deal. I believe, 3-year, $47 million. So a little over $15 million a year. Your thoughts on that deal?
Yeah, I was a little interested when that happened too, and let alone seeing the Knicks kind of. He was not playing about not wanting to spend that money. He was not playing about that. So Dolan was serious. And so to see him let him walk, little piece come off your championship team walk, that's still a little shocking to see. Instead of try to bring everybody back and try to be the first team and getting close to a decade to go back to the finals. So it was a little shocking to see that. But Boston got him a big size coming in. Only thing bad about him is it's the free throw part. Hacker Mitch, send him to the line.
Well, him and Keita will be an interesting 7-footer mix as far as how they fit in, because you have to have another 7-footer alongside Mitchell Robinson. He cannot do it himself. It's just not going to work. He just doesn't have the stamp. Going more than 20 minutes is really rough on him. You saw him when Cat got 2 fouls early and had to sit down early in that first quarter, and he came in and he was huffing and puffing after only 4 minutes of back and forth play. And that's, again, you have to use him carefully. They have a good coach in Boston, as much as to my chagrin to saying that. They should be able to go ahead and intermix him with Keita, so it should work out. At least they'll have a functional and productive center group going forward. But let me get it over to Joe for starting out now for some final thoughts. A busy day in the league so far today. It looks like it's wrapping up shop for today. Overall, your impressions on the day that was in day 2 of NBA free agency before we head on out. And I'll get you guys as well.
About as exciting it could be, considering the league's implosion in ruining one of the greatest parts of sports that they had ahead of the NFL. Even I'll never understand why this happened. The NBA free agency period was must-see TV, better than any sport in my view, and the trade deadline was even more, especially though the free agent season. So I'm still in astonishment at how Adam Silver continues to ruin the good things about this league and make everything that's bad a priority. Like all these gambling issues and all these scams going on, he just doesn't seem to. It almost looks like he's in on the take. So that's my impression of the NBA free agent period. I didn't feel the Jaylen Brown trade. I'm not really feeling LeBron going. The excitement isn't there. I don't know how to explain it. And as far as the Lakers day today, we kind of knew this was going to be it. We just didn't know if it was Kessler. Was it going to be Duren? They needed a center, and we weren't sure if they were going to get one or the other. They got one. Now we know, okay, they were serious. They got their center. It's a center conference that you're going to have to deal with Wemby and Holmgren and Hartenstein and the Oklahoma City Thunder and things like that. So it makes sense. Now it's for Laker fans, we have to see how Reeves improves his shooting, how all these young guys can ascend themselves in their talents. And of course, Luka Doncic making it through a season without getting injured. Because if he doesn't get injured, all these guys' games is going to go up.
Yeah.
And he will win an MVP if he's not injured and is playing like he did last year. That is going to happen. He will win an MVP, but he's got to play the whole year. This 60, 65 game bullshit needs to stop. These guys need to play 75 games.
It's funny because I had a discussion with Stefan Piscano, Joe, and he was adamant that they shouldn't even do the 65 game rule. And I was like, well, again, you're mad that they're not even doing that. So
I have a solution to that. You don't want to play 82 games a year? Take a pay cut so that you can allocate that to other players. Oh, wait, no, it's not going to happen. Well, what the hell are you going to say? You don't want to play? Don't get paid. How are you getting paid not playing? How does that make any sense? You want to play 65 games, turn in your 17 game check, and can we get some help? Let somebody else play 17 games then. It's just, there is no logical argument by anyone. You could bring the highest NBA official and you can sit, and Empire Jeff can sit there and tell me these guys know more than we do. Bullshit. Bullshit. You can't talk over common sense, no matter what you've done in your life. I don't care if you've been in the NBA for 50 years. There's no way you're going to convince me that taking a pay cut, if you don't want to play all the games, doesn't make sense. But they're not going to do that. And again, when you let the employees control you, this is what the result is. We have to overpay the Kesslers because of this. You have to overpay the Grimes because of this, because of timing, because they had to agree. Well, you have to allocate 90 to 95% of your cap, no matter what. No matter what, there's a floor. Okay. You have to spend that money. When you ask about, well, why did the Lakers give Kobe Bryant a 2-year, $60 million? They had to. They had to give that money to somebody. And there was no talent at that point that they thought would make a difference. So might as well suck for a couple of years, get some high draft picks, and go from there. Well, that stuff's not going to work anymore because now the genius of Adam Silver, which is just tragic how horrible he keeps getting year in, year out. I love this guy the first decade. COVID absolutely destroyed him. I don't know if he got COVID and it messed up his brain or what, but he has been dog shit since 2020. Absolute dog shit. And he's getting worse.
Yeah, I agree.
How are you not going to reward teams that lose? Is it ever going to end?
Here we go. I agree.
So again, it's very important that I'm not, out of respect, I wouldn't sit next to Ronnie Coleman and talk about working out. God bless him. He's a good man. He's busted up right now. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, man, I think you took it a little too far. Or you should have done this, right? It's a disrespect at that point, even though I'm right. But we're not around anybody in the NBA right now, so we can speak freely. But seriously, come on. Give me a break. It just this last CBA has gotten me all the issues that people talk about. Oh, the NBA is a 3-point happy league and all this stuff. I'm like, that's not even the problem. The problem is the numbnut that runs the league and the numbnuts that agreed to this deal because they didn't want to lose those checks. You guys are going to see what real men do to handle business come December in Major League Baseball. These guys saved up $500 million getting ready. That's what smart people do. Because those owners, you think the owners of the NBA are bad? You think the NFL owners are bad? There is nothing more wretched than an MLB owner, minus a few here and there. These are the most greedy pieces of shit owners in sports, is the ones in MLB. These guys have 81 games to make a shitload of money, and they're still crying about money. So that's my period on the NBA day one. By the way, I feel like it's been July 1 for 3 days. Do you like that? It started at 3 p.m. Pacific. I love the 9 o'clock one because you stay up late.
It was midnight Eastern, though.
You find out that they're talking to Timothy Mozgov, and you get excited.
Knocking on his door at night. I get it. I get it. But for us, it's fine, Joe. But for the guys on the East Coast,
I don't give a shit about the people on the East Coast.
Legend, did you hear
that?
I'm
just kidding. Legend.
I was about to say, well, damn.
I'm fucking with you. I'm sorry. my ideas in the East Coast is always Northeast. I don't think about the South.
Well, that's Southeast, Joe.
I know. I'm being funny about it.
Yeah, I know you're.
That
funny
went
guy.
over your head and
funny guy.
smacked in the back of the head.
You like being funny. You like being funny. Give you the. I knew you'd like that. So, yes. Caleb, before we head on out, we're not finished with free agency. I mean, there's still more out there. Let me know some of the more interesting names that are still out there that you think might still get some news out there for people as far as what they decide and what they go to here in the coming, hopefully, day. I don't like the stuff that happens on the 4th. Let's just get it finished before the 4th. That'd be awesome.
Hey, as an OKC fan, I'll tell you, I don't enjoy when stuff happens on the 4th either. It's not my favorite day that things have ever happened in the NBA's history. But this is broken perfectly for LeBron to get exactly what he wants, which is to be the lead of every show for the next 12 days while he takes till August to make his decision that he wants of where he's going to play. We all know how this is going to go. This isn't there's not going to be a resolution. He's going to meet with teams he has no intention of signing with. He's going to go full LeBron here. One last time, maybe he'll do a decision 2.0 if that brings him some money. Who knows what we'll do, right? But so I think LeBron's the biggest domino. Rui Hachimura really is an interesting one because I do think that he can change playoff series for good teams if he goes to the right place. Now, if he ends up in Brooklyn, which has been some rumors before free agency started, probably not going to be impacting any playoff series anytime soon.
Well, I think he'll be traded at that point. I think he'll be traded.
Maybe. But either way, if he lands with, there was some Detroit buzz today. If he somehow lands with Detroit, that'd be great. He'd be huge and awesome in Detroit. Rui could still be a really big and important one. I think that a domino that could fall. This is probably kind of because of my Thunder brain, but I still don't expect Lou Dort to be in OKC. And looking at the remaining free agents, he's, I think, one of the more impactful guys who could still change teams.
Are they still over the second tax apron as of now?
Yep. So that they're still about $9 million over. So I think that Dort is going to end up moved. We'll see where. There's been Charlotte talk. Washington apparently is in the market for a veteran guard. I think there was way before the offseason started, there was some OKC likes Justin Champagny buzz, and I think that could maybe be a deal that we could see happen if Washington wants to bring in talk about needing to insulate a guard defensively. I think Trae Young fall into that category. So I think those are maybe the three guys. I'm sure I'm forgetting about somebody. This Lakers Kuminga thing, it's going to be more talked about than probably it should because it's the Lakers and it's Jonathan Kuminga. But I do think that it's worth a flyer for the Lakers because he's the archetype of player that good teams need. And if you can get him to play the right way, which has been the challenge with him, it could be something that pays off in a big way. And then I think the other maybe big thing we could see is Trey Murphy. We'll see. I think with this Jaylen Brown thing coming to a resolution today, I think that it's mostly going to be a LeBron fest here for the next few weeks, much to I'm sure the Lakers fans are going to love one last going away party of LeBron being the talk of every show all the time for the next 2 weeks. But so I would say those are the maybe 4 or 5 big ones that have a chance to move teams here still. Other than that, like I said, I'm sure I'm forgetting some important player, but those are the ones who I'd keep an eye on. And I speak for myself. I was pretty entertained by today. That Jaylen Brown thing kind of hit me like a truck personally. I'm still astonished that is the return you got to your biggest rival. I mean, the Raptors gave up more for Kawhi and the Lakers gave up more for Walker Kessler than the 76ers gave up to the Celtics for Jaylen Brown. That's mind-numbing to me. But I think the huge moves are probably mostly behind us. And in this new system that I agree with Joe on not being a very big fan of most of the how they've affected these transaction windows. These big moves are going to come via trade, and to the NBA's credit, there's been a ton of massive trades, unexpected, out of nowhere deals so far this offseason. So I think we're probably getting close to being pretty wrapped up, and other than LeBron, who's, as I've said a few times already, just really going to relish in this one final opportunity to be in the limelight, and nothing else getting talked about other than him.
Best league, Bradley Beal did give up $5.5 million to leave
he's
LA, but he's still getting paid from Phoenix. So
and he'll be on the Heat, surely, right? Like we all just kind of, he's just going to go to the Heat, I think.
Yeah, why not? Just go to the Heat. Goes out. Again, he's still getting that free cash from Phoenix. I'll leave it at that. But Legend, I will leave the last words for you, my friend. Again, I truly appreciate both you, Caleb, and Joe for stopping on by here. Again, another busy day. The Lakers seemingly have pretty much finished up what they can around the main part. Of course, they can still maybe do some things around the fringes, but we'll wait and see. But the LeBron decision has yet to be made. There's still some players out there to get, still some changes to be made. Is there anything you want to add in as far as your 2 cents before we head on out?
Pretty much just like what Caleb just said. LeBron's gonna enjoy this moment. He's gonna be the talk of the show. Everybody did what they did today. Ain't nobody gonna care about them no more. It's over. You gonna move on like they don't exist. It's gonna be the LeBron James show now. He's gonna get all that attention that he likes. He's probably at home right now, sipping his wine, kicking his legs up, laughing, and just kikiing like they can't stop talking about me. He's probably enjoying this deep down inside. He probably already know where he plan on going. He's just gonna let it fester for a little bit.
He's known for 2 weeks already where he's going. He's just sitting back and getting
having fun on the golf course, having fun on that fairway.
Probably talking to his partner in crime, to tell him, look at First Take. They can't help it. They don't even know what's coming. He doing this for fun. Who knows? He may want to be the type of person that want to drop it on 4th of July and be like, I'm going to such and such.
Just to mess with Caleb.
It's typical.
Just to bring me some PTSD. No other reason.
It's him, You gotta go out. You got to go out with one last bang of doing this. So you got to do it the way you want to do it.
We'll see what happens indeed, but it's been a very busy day. If you have thoughts and you're watching this after the fact, please let us know your thoughts down below in the comments indeed. But I do want to again thank Joe Sorrell for the Joe Sorrell experiment for taking the time. He's giggling at something, I can tell, either at comments in the chat or some said, like me all day long. I was just laughing, Joe. I was laughing at the WhatsApp chat. I was laughing at the Lakerholics chat. I was laughing at my Facebook chat. I was laughing at my in-laws chat as far as it's concerned about everything that went on today.
Freaking Vari, man.
Oh, well, there you go. That's,
Just pull stuff out of his ass.
And he knows your address too, Joe. And he knows your
address. Yeah, but Vari's going to have the adventure of hanging out with me here in about a month.
Yeah, well, he said 16 hours to come and get you.
It's going to be fun.
Well, the jails will be ready. I'll say that. But once again, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. It is, of course, Legend from I Got Next Sports Media, Caleb Ponce from the Suave Report and the New Century Press, and Joe Sorrell from the Joe Sorrell Experiment. Indeed. Please go ahead and make sure you like and subscribe. And if there's anything going on tomorrow, we'll be back. I also have planned an interview with Matt John coming up here. He'll be extolling the virtues of Danny Ainge, I'm sure, here with his coverage of the Utah Jazz and all that. So I can't wait to hear him admonish me on that. And then also, as well, later in the week, I heard we might have a special guest, guys, later on for Friday. So a returning Zoom executive, indeed. So there you go. Wait for that, indeed. But it is, of course, be that as it may, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us because, as always, we provide you the best in Lakers and NBA talk and also the best in NBA observations.
What is this? Knight Rider?
Tom likes this music. He actually-
I can barely hear myself think. Freaking Vari, man. He's killing me all day. He wakes up in the morning because he's in Australia. Oh, Kessler just signed with the Lakers like 8 hours later. Oh, man.
Oh, that's far.
Oh, shit. That was funny. Oh, man.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I know it's a late night for you. So, again,
Oh, yeah. Where are you at, Ponce?
I live in Sioux Falls right now is where I'm at. So
How's the weather over there?
It's 72 out right
Good.
now. So
That's
not
good.
too bad right now.
Yeah, we got a nice little breeze. That's why I have the window open here.
Man, that sounds
Shut up to the both of you.
cooler than my weather. Way cooler than it is over here in Georgia.
Yeah, we'll try the hot desert right now. Yeah, 100 degrees. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
Well, we're not that far behind you.
Isn't it more sticky in the south though?
Yeah, it's a little more sticky, especially when it's
Oh, yeah.
hot out here. It's more sticky.
Oh yeah. If you're not used to it, Joe, the first time you get off a plane in Atlanta or Orlando, oh my God,
That's terrible.
I remember I remember when we went to Puerto Vallarta when I was 17, and we had a little puddle jumper that we got out of, so we walked out of the plane instead of through a tarmac area. And I remember I was like, what the hell is this? My eyelids were hot. I was like, damn.
First time I went to Orlando from Las Vegas, I just got out of the plane and I didn't know what was going on. Just all of a sudden, insta sweat. And I'm not really a sweater, as far as my body is concerned. Oh no. Just
Miami in
like a
Miami in
waterfall.
August is pretty bad. I was very uncomfortable in Miami in August. It was just hot.
Anybody on the West Coast that's not used to it, oh man, it hits you like a ton.
Yeah, it hits you like bricks.
Yes.
I mean, I tried. I was wearing a tank top and shorts. I don't wear sandals because I'm not a sandal guy unless you go to the beach or a pool. But I was hot for 2 weeks nonstop. It couldn't get cool.
It takes a while to get used to. Yeah, I hear you.
Good show, guys. Looking forward to more here in the next few days. It's nice to get back into the rhythm a little bit.
For sure.
We'll see. Yeah, good, pretty decent number.
Sure.
It's about 3,000 so far in the past couple of days. So,
Yeah, people want to listen to this stuff. They love
and then they tune out in August.
Yeah, I know that's probably my fault with some of them, but I don't have.
No, I'm just saying the audience.
I don't have any patience. I have not had any patience with people calling people shit online. I've been on it pretty bad lately.
No worries.
Like, dude,
you guys realize that Summer League basketball starts on Friday.
Yeah, they play he makes the announcement Friday.
But we'll see
when they play the Warriors.
There you go.
I don't.
All right, guys.
I can't see him not going to the Warriors. I'm putting it Warriors 80, Cleveland 19, and then 1% Miami.
I feel that way. I feel like he's going to come to the Warriors. That's about that.
It's going to be a lot of press. I'll tell you that for the next. I think he's going to sign a 2-year deal. By the way, I don't think he's going to be done this year.
You could sign a 3.
No,
you could sign a 3.
But then he is doing a video this next year.
I gotta go. I will. If there's something major, I'll hop on the next couple days, Gerald. But if not, I'll
shoot you a message just in case. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
All right. Have a great evening.
All right, guys.